A follow-up now on the Faith Forum that you watched right here on CNN. From what is being rich to when do a baby's human rights actually begin? And then this, when is a cone of silence not a cone of silence? And if it isn't a cone of silence, could one of the candidates, namely John McCain, because he just happened to go last in this interview, could he have heard the questions that we were assured that he could not have been hearing? Here now, my interview with Pastor Rick Warren. Let me start you this way. Were you surprised, because I was just listening to Barack Obama there, were you surprised that he didn't respond the way Democrats have almost consistently responded in the past if they happen to have or share his position? They say something like, look, personally I'm against abortion, but I'm not against a law that allows it. You asked him specifically, when does a baby get human rights? Yeah. He said, it's above my pay grade at some point. Were you taken aback by his nuanced response?
No, actually, Rick, I think what we saw last night was two personalities exactly playing according to form. I see Barack Obama as kind of the thoughtful consensus builder. I see John McCain as the happy, straightforward warrior, and they both answered exactly according to casting, just the way they work. One of them tends to get right to the point. Barack is more nuanced. He's more, he thinks things through. You know, he's a constitutional attorney. And so it didn't surprise me at all. In fact, it was a good balance to show the difference.
I heard somebody on our air today actually say the following statement. It seemed to me, he said, that Senator McCain was doing an interview with Wolf Blitzer, whereas Senator Obama was doing an interview with Oprah Winfrey. So two different styles, and I think you picked up on that. Hey, let me ask you about this. Last night I heard you say that McCain would be in a cone of silence. And then half hour into the event, I hear our guys here in our political desk announce that McCain has just arrived at the worship center. And I'm thinking, you know, hey, if he just arrived at the worship center, he couldn't have been in the cone of silence, right?
Yeah, well, that's true. He was in a cone of a Secret Service motorcade. That's exactly for sure.
But you said, I'm going to quote you, I'm going to press you just a little bit on this, because I love this cone of silence thing, and I want to borrow it with my 4 kids at home, by the way. We flipped a coin, you said, and we have safely placed Senator McCain in a cone of silence. That's what you said. Did you think at the time that when you said that, did you think he was in the cone of, did you think he was in the building?
Actually, yes, I did. There was actually a question I got to Senator Obama in advance that I didn't get to Senator McCain because he wasn't there. I actually wrote down on a piece of paper the very first question because I wanted them both to be relaxed. And I said, here's the very first question. I gave it to both of them to ask that. But I also told Senator Obama, since there was one question where I was going to ask for a commitment, it was the commitment later about would you allow a PEPFAR type President's Emergency Plan for orphans? And I thought if I was going to ask him for a public commitment, I ought to let him know in advance. I got to tell Barack Obama that in advance. I did not get to tell John McCain that in advance. So
well, you obviously,
by surprise, I'm sure.
I mean, just out of fairness, I mean, look, this is CNN. We try to be as exact as we possibly can. I just wanted to get it on the record. And of course, there's going to be people out there, Pastor, who are going to say, well, if he wasn't there, like a half hour before the event started, what would have stopped him from watching an event that was on all 3 channels, on the radio, there's Blackberries, there's the internet, there's everything else. So I guess you don't know and I don't know whether he had the questions or not.
You know what? You know what? At first place, we asked him. We flat out asked him. Did you hear any of the debate? I mean, any of the discussion? And I trust the integrity of both John McCain and Barack Obama that they said they would abide by the rules. They knew the rules way in advance, that I would not give them the questions. I did tell them all of the themes and went through all of the themes, said here's the kind of question, the themes that I'm going to deal with. I'm going to probably throw out a question about economy, going to probably throw out a question about climate change, which by the way I never got to, and a number of other issues, but I would not give them the wording of what specifically, like for instance, it's one thing to say, I may ask you a question about the courts, it's another question to say, which of the existing Supreme Court would you not appoint?
Well, yeah, and let's be fair. We called Senator McCain's office and they said that no, we did not listen, we did not know. So what you're saying is part of that we're just going to have to go on the honor system, and we certainly respect that. Let's switch a little bit on the topics here. Going back to Barack Obama, did you expect him to say that he's against abortion personally, and were you surprised that he didn't say that?
Well, again, I know both of these guys pretty
well.
I'm
asking you this question as a pastor.
I wasn't surprised by either of their answers. I figured that's what they were going to say.
Well, here, let me try another one with you then. Because, you know, I'm looking at this now as somebody who was really enjoying the event, sitting in front of my television watching this. There was one...
You know, the one thing I regret, Rick, is that I can't tell you how many times I wanted to ask a follow-up because I could have gone for 30 minutes on everyone. I know the pain of a journalist now because they would say something and I go, yeah, but what about, yeah, but, and I wanted everything, every bone in my body wanted to ask, yeah, but. But I decided to go for breadth rather than depth because I knew I wouldn't get a lot of questions asked if I did follow-ups.
You know what you're doing now? You're feeling my pain. There's this producer who talks into this little thing right here, who's constantly telling, hurry up and don't go. Let me ask you this one. There was another point that I think, you know, I'm trying to pick up on things that I think will get more shelf life in the news. I think maybe that Barack Obama response on abortion may or may not get some shelf life. McCain had a response to you when you asked him what constituted a rich person, and he kind of threw out the term $5 million in income. And I was thinking to myself, there are people all over America right now going, $5 million? Do you think the average American, how close do you think he was, his figure, to what the average American thinks is a rich person?
Yeah, well, he instantly knew that. That was one of those ones where the staff kind of grimaces and goes, oh, you know, I honestly believe, and I've said this before, that everybody in public life, Democrat and Republican, should get a 5% grace factor because everybody says stuff you say that's stupid, you don't believe, and later you go, well, I wish I hadn't said that. I've done it. You know, I'm going to say it on this, I'll say stuff on this interview with you that I go, well, I didn't believe that at all, you know. So we just have to not play gotcha on stuff like that and go, okay, he didn't mean that, you know, that kind of thing.
Oh, by the way, for the record, I've never made a mistake. Just ask my wife and kids.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. Rick Warren, you're a good man. I appreciate you taking time and taking us through this. Congratulations. You held an event, you had people there, and you had all the networks on you as well. Job well done, sir. We appreciate your time.